Peace and blessings is real. First and foremost, I want to take this time and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten Son, Yahushua, for allowing his word to come out. And I hope you sincere brothers and sisters is edified by this word. And the name of the lesson is called, Do Not Rejoice in the Tragic Death of Your Enemy. All right, I'm going to say that again, man. Do not rejoice in the tragic death of your enemy. All right. Let me just put it to you this way, man. We're no stranger to what an enemy is. It's various different examples of an enemy. You have enemies when you into sports. You have enemies. When you into the regular walks of life, you have enemies. You have enemies that you compete with on your job. Even in church, you have enemies, believe it or not. But in this word, man, we're going to focus on the realistic version of what an enemy is, man. An enemy is someone who hates you, someone that threatens you, someone that wants to harm you and attack you. An enemy is simply someone that's opposite of being your friend. Okay? And according to the Bible, you do not rejoice in the tragic death of your enemies. It's cold-blooded, right? It's cold-blooded, man. In today's world, people actually rejoice in the tragic death of their enemies. They dance on their grave, so to speak. And you have to say to yourself, if your enemy is already dead, it's done. You don't need nothing else. He's done already. He's done. He's done. The damage is done. He's dead. Okay? It's over with. Regardless of what type of relationship y'all had, regardless of the animosity, regardless of all of that, once he's deceased, it's over with. There's no more, you don't have to be, you don't have to have animosity with this person no longer. You no longer have to resent this person. It's over, man. And when it's over, you move on. But people, they don't move on. They rejoice. You see? Now, in these scriptures, man, we're going to come out with a couple scriptures. And then we're going to close this thing out, man. All right? The first scripture we're going to come out with is Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 8, verses 7 in the Apocrypha. And it says, Rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. That's cold, man. That's cold. Now, let me really just break this down again, and I want this to marinate so you can understand, man, the seriousness. And Ecclesiasticus 8, verse 7. The first thing that it says two things in Sirach 8, verse 7. The first thing that it says is rejoice. Okay, rejoice. In other words, man, rejoice is another way of experiencing gladness and being joyful at the highest order. Okay? It tells you in Ecclesiastes, do not Do not experience gladness. Do not experience being joyful at the highest order. Do not. Okay? Over thy greatest enemy. Who is your enemy, man? Your enemy, again, is your foe, your adversary, those who hate you, and those that have extreme dislike for you would be an enemy. It says, rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, being deceased, aka no longer alive. Okay? You rejoice not. Okay, it's a reason why it's telling you to rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead. Why? Because it says, rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. You see that? So you got to put in mind, you got to think of and consider, you got to preserve your memory and recollect the fact that, guess what? You're going to be deceased, no longer alive at some point as well. So the same way that you dancing on somebody's grave, the same way that you are rejoicing, experiencing gladness and being joyful at the highest order, it's others going to feel the exact same way when you're out of this place, man. You see that? That's cold-blooded, man. Yeah, that's cold, man. What's the name of the lesson, man? Do not rejoice in the tragic death of your enemy, man. That's plain. And another scripture we're going to come out with is that Proverbs 24:17. It says, rejoice not when thy enemy falleth, and let not thy heart be glad when he stumble, man. You see that? So you don't rejoice when your enemy fall, man. Your heart should not be glad. Look at King David, man. He didn't rejoice when Saul died in the battle. No, he didn't rejoice. You see, because he understood one thing. He's going to die one day as well. You see that? So rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all, man. That's cold-blooded, man. You don't rejoice in the tragic death of your enemy, man. You see? And again, when your enemy, which is your foe, which is your adversary, when he is no longer alive, do not experience gladness. Do not experience being joyful at the highest order. Why? Because you have to put in mind and consider and preserve your memory and recollect the fact that you're going to die one day as well. What goes around comes around. What comes around goes around. However it goes hand in hand, man. Yeah, cold-blooded, man. I hope you sincere, brothers and sisters, is edified by this word. We give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, for allowing this word to come out. And hey, listen, man. Those that have enemies, okay? Regardless of what it is y'all funking over, whatever y'all beefing over, whatever it is that have you having extreme dislike for this person or vice versa. When that person is no longer alive, man, the beef is over. The drama is over. The war is over, man. It's time to be at peace. It's time to show love. This enemy of yours have a family. This enemy of yours have friends. Okay? And you know the pain that death is going to bring in family. So why would you rejoice knowing that these people are hurting, man. Because he was an enemy of yours while he was living, that was cool. But once he dies, man, there's no more grudges. There's no more resentment. There's no more war. It's over, man. It's time to be at peace at that point. You dig? Shalom.